Okay, so Trump has won. Um, Now, I know very few people are going to watch this video, but I am. You know what I'm doing at this point is I'm just keeping a record of everything that happens, because it's not any surprise, right? And hopefully, I can look back at it over the next year, and maybe other people, maybe someone will, and say, yeah, it seemed pretty obvious. Now, here's the thing. I usually talk about Canada. Let's put Canada to the side a little bit. I've mentioned the United States, and I've mentioned that it looks like the economy is not good there, even though it seems to be better than Canada. But here's the thing about the economy. You can always, until you're absolutely in a recession or a depression, you can pull out numbers that make it look like it is a healthy economy. But you cannot fool the people who can't find a job, who can never own a house, whose rent is completely unaffordable and they have nothing left over after they pay that. You cannot hide from the people in the United States the fact that for them, the economy is garbage. I see a lot of people on CNN saying, what happened to the young vote? The young people are the ones that are most affected by this completely garbage economy that we have. They can't afford to move out of the house. They're stuck with their parents. Their parents are stuck with them. Their parents are stuck with having to give them money towards a down payment on a home, which is ridiculous. We have Silicon Valley, which I've gone on about a little bit, which used to be something that was good for the economy, is turning into absolute trash at this point. Absolute trash. There is no use for Silicon Valley anymore the way things are going. All of the money is being dumped into AI to the point where people are losing their jobs, not because they're being replaced by AI, but because all the money is going into that. Look the amount of electricity that is required. Look at the fact that Airbnb is running rampant while people can't find an affordable place to live and politicians are doing nothing. These idiots that say that the Democrats are too far left, they're nowhere near left wing. You are living in a dream world. They are behind big business. Airbnb should have been shut down a long time ago. As soon as people realized that there is a housing crisis in the United States, it wasn't done. They are absolutely not a far left communist party by any stretch of the imagination. Sure, we have these social issues where they have opinions that do not fit in with most Americans. That does not make them communists. It makes them stupid at this point because it really helped them to lose the election. Right? And now, let's look at the people that are suffering. They've lost their jobs, or they're young and they can't even get a job. They can't find a place to live that's affordable, right? And I was saying that Silicon Valley is not helping the situation anymore. The companies are turning to absolute trash. They're shipping jobs overseas. They are getting rid of people as quickly as they can. The reality with Silicon Valley now, and if you're in computer science, this is the reality you have to deal with. You are an expenditure that they do not want. You are absolutely not wanted. It doesn't matter how hard you work. And the person that symbolizes this more than anyone else is Elon Musk. And now we've got a government in the United States where it looks like Elon Musk is going to be the right-hand man. So you can say, but Blaine, these idiots voted for someone that's going to make their life worse. It's very true. Would anyone want to work for Elon Musk? Only an absolute bootlicker, right? The man has no concept. He's an economic genius. He's a moron. You cannot have a good economy when you are treating employees like garbage. He lives in a dream world where he thinks he should have everything and employees are crap and they should be crapped on daily. Go back and read what he said about his employees in China and how he appreciated the fact that they had no rights. Look at how he treated the people that he got rid of at Twitter because he was angry at them because he blew all of his money because he is an idiot and spent way too much on Twitter. What is Twitter? Compare it to Alphabet, right? It's nothing, right? It's, yeah, sure, it's a website and it's an app and all that, but it's not Alphabet, you know? It's a joke, comparatively. And this is the guy now that seems to be the right-hand man. And I would warn, the thing about Elon Musk is that he seldom devises anything, but he always ends up in control of it. Look at PayPal. He had nothing to do with PayPal, but then their companies merged, and then somehow he came out. Everyone's like, oh, he's the genius behind PayPal. No, he isn't. He's also not the genius behind Tesla. The only genius he's had at Tesla has been telling fibs for years about how these are going to be self-driving cars and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Go back and look through all the news stories of all the promises Elon Musk has made about Tesla. All garbage. Look at the Cybertruck. Piece of shit. Right? So this is the guy now who is in there. And this is what happens, though. Right? We can blame Trump all we want. We can blame Elon Musk all we want. But the reality is that the Democrats tried to tell people that the economy was good. Look how great the economy is. Well, I can't pay my rent. I can't ever buy a house. I get treated like crap by these companies that are shipping jobs away. And that's what Americans felt. And you also have the lunatic fringe, don't get me wrong, that watch all these crappy channels and think that, you know, the United States is going to be taken over by some communist conspiracy, and that the fluoride in the water is like destroying their brains and all this other idiocy. That's certainly out there, and that might be 30% or whatever. But, you know, how did everything change so quickly? Why were young people that are even educated voting against the Democrats? Because they were told the economy is good and the economy is crap. Now, let's get back to Canada. I've been saying for a long time, you know, the Liberals have not listened. People were telling the Liberals years ago, we don't have places to live. Rent is too high. Their response was, we are increasing immigration to 2 million people over the next year or two or whatever. It was shocking to young people. Youth unemployment in Canada is worse than it's ever been, I think, in my life. When I was young, even in the worst recessions, I could find a job. It is awful in Canada right now. It is absolutely awful. Take that. Add on to that the fact that even people up to the age of 30 now cannot buy a place to live except an absolutely garbage condo of maybe 550 square feet, right? For $600,000. Bring the municipalities into this as well. Who agreed to build these condos that are only useful for Airbnb? Now, who's going to live in these places? Who agreed to that? So politicians all the way up and down have completely failed people. We have Doug Ford here, who now his big plan is to dig underneath the 401, which is one of the most disastrous highways in the world. He wants to dig underneath it to build a new highway underneath. This is the Tories, the same Tories that were literally gifted a highway by the NDP government and then sold it for pennies on the dollar. They're all idiots. But, you know, I've been saying, let's get back to the federal Liberals. I've been saying for a long time, they are going down to potentially 0 seats. Grandparents, parents, millennials, kids see the fact that they can't find a place to live that's affordable, and that the government has not listened year after year after year after year. And I understand these people that are pro-liberal that come in and say, but all of this is the province's responsibility. And some of it is. It's absolutely true. But the federal government has not helped. It hasn't helped, and they haven't helped their case. They're literally gaslighting us, saying that they're going to make things more affordable, but then pushing policies that are going to cause housing prices to continue to go up. They're either stupid or they want the prices to go up, and I believe they do. Trudeau has generally said, we can't have houses crashing in value because that will ruin the nest egg of the boomers. So this is what we are living in right now, where young people have few opportunities for employment, fewer than ever in my lifetime. Their rent is way too expensive. They will never own a home, and they will not have children. And this is why now they're looking out to Canadian birth rates going negative in the next, 7 years or something like that. Of course they are. If you cannot provide a society where it makes sense to have children, people will stop having children. You have to deal with those issues. You can't just say, we're going to increase immigration to 1 million or 2 million on a population of, I don't even know what the population is now. What is it, 39 million, 42 million? I have no idea. So I would be surprised if the Liberals get any seats. They don't deserve them. But it's very similar to the United States in the sense that the alternative is much, 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 much worse. But how can you expect the voters to not punish awful governments? And I'm not saying that Biden's policies were all awful or anything like that. But you cannot gaslight people. You cannot tell them it's a good economy when they can't even find a place to live. You can't do that. And you were held accountable for it. And so it's over now. And now the world has to listen to Trump again, which was embarrassing enough the first time, but here we go. And of course, now the idiot that runs Twitter is in there as well. So it's a real clown show now. But this is my thing. When the clown show comes to town, you have to also blame the people that opened the gates for them. So in Canada, the Liberals and the NDP have opened the gates because they have done absolutely nothing to fix this economy at all. And in the Democrats in the States, I think they've done more, but they gaslit everyone and said it's a good economy when people know that it isn't. So there you go. And this is now what we're going to have to deal with. And the same thing is going on in Europe as well. These are bad times, folks. This very well could lead to the complete end of the Western world as we know it. Because, for example, the United States, I think their debt is 127% of GDP right now. Compare that to Russia. I think theirs is under 30%, right? Although I don't know how much I trust any of those numbers, you know. Canada, I think we're over 100%, right? Countries cannot continue like this. You can't just continually go into debt. You have to compete on the world stage, right? So the economy is trash. There's a wall coming up of debt that at some point in time has to be dealt with, and that's going to be even more painful. And where is that going to leave us? I don't know. But none of these parties, and that includes the GOP, and it includes the Conservatives here in Canada, none of these politicians have done anything to deal with that issue. It's going to come to a head. It's going to get much worse than it is right now. So anyway, what's my summary here? The fact is, Trump's back in. It seems shocking because he seemed like a moron last time he was president, but here he is. But at the same time, don't gaslight the electorate and try to tell them that's a good economy when it's not. Trudeau's going out. This should be a wake-up call to the Liberals in Canada that you can't just continue to lie your way through things and expect that people believe you. We don't believe you. And the final thing is that Silicon Valley, I said this earlier today, is a shadow of its former self. It is no longer doing things to help with society and to help with the United States. There's absolute obsession with AI, for example, is costing so much. It's using up so much electricity. Well, I've already talked about how Microsoft wants a dedicated nuclear power plant. What is the point of all of this? What is the direction? You know, where are we going? Does anyone want to go there? Sorry, my screen slept. Um, what what role do the people play? Now, according to Silicon Valley now, you play nothing. You are nothing, you play nothing. You can go to hell. And the fact that Elon Musk, who treats people like that on a daily basis from what we've seen at Twitter, he's now the right-hand man. Dark times ahead. They will do lots of things that say it's good for the economy. It's going to be more gaslighting because the economy and the working class people are two different things. More shit ahead. Nothing being done about it. I don't expect anything to be done by the Conservatives here in Canada when they win or by Trump in the United States. Good luck, everyone. And, well, that's all I can say. Good luck. Have a good night.